The 2025 FIBA AfroBasket tournament is right around the corner, and though this is by far the least talked about of the 4 continental championships, to these players and countries, this is their basketball Super Bowl. This is their best opportunity to compete in front of the eyes of the world and fight to earn international respect and recognition. The AfroBasket tournament is the highest level competition most of these teams and players will ever face, and it is always a lot of fun to watch these games filled with passion. Today I wanted to preview and predict the tournament, giving you guys some of the players I'm looking out for and information that may be hard to find online. Not a lot of people cover African basketball, and I'll be honest, I'm not going to pretend that I follow these teams like hawks. But I am a big fan of the international sport, and I do know a good bit about most of these teams and players. Before we get started, please do me a big favor and like the video, as it helps me out far more than I think you guys realize. Consider becoming a channel member if you want to support these videos directly, and subscribe for more basketball related content. I am trying to hit 1 million subscribers before the gold medal game, so let's make that happen. First, a quick breakdown of how the tournament works. Like the Asia Cup, there are 16 total nations competing from the FIBA region of Africa. They are broken into 4 groups, each containing 4 teams. Each country will play 3 round-robin matches against the opponents in their group. Then, based on how they finish, it will dictate their position in the final knockout bracket. The team with the best record in the group secures a bye for round 1. Second and third places are seeded in the first round like normal, and the 4th place team is unfortunately eliminated. Then the knockout bracket is single game elimination, with the exception of the semifinals, where the losers will play in a 3rd place match. It all gets started on August 12th, and the gold medal match is not even a couple weeks later on August 24th. And if you are curious, the host nation is Angola. With the explanation of how the tournament works out of the way, let's get into the teams. One more quick note though, I am preparing this video with about 1 week left until the tournament tips off. Unfortunately, rosters have yet to be finalized. Even FIBA themselves, who releases articles for each team right before the tournament, admits they don't know who is competing. So I am basing these predictions off of their preliminary rosters, a little bit of articles that have come out for a few select teams, and based on how these teams did in the qualifiers. There are a lot of good current and former NBA players who could compete with these national teams, but unfortunately, most of the time these guys refuse. Some give reasons like choosing to focus on their professional careers, but most simply do not comment on the invitations. It really is a shame. So if I make this video and then all of a sudden it turns out Pascal Siakam is playing, then it will swing things dramatically, but I'm not going to hold my breath for that. Starting out with Group A, the team I believe will be finishing 4th will be Rwanda. In total, there were 23 African countries trying to qualify for this tournament. Of the 16 that made it, Rwanda was one of the least convincing. Of their 6 matches, they only won 2, both against Gabon, who failed to win even 1. Team Rwanda will likely not feature a single professional competing outside of the African continent. Their best performers during qualification were Alex Mpoyo and William Robbins. Both guys will need to have big performances to keep their teams competitive. Finishing 3rd will likely be Cape Verde. Sometimes they are one of Africa's best teams, largely thanks to the presence of the longtime EuroLeague big man Eddie Tavares. But I have not seen any reports indicating he will be competing at this tournament. Instead, it seems they're going to rely heavily on big man Marcus Santos Silva and guard Shane DeRosa, who are both pretty good players who performed well in the qualifiers, but neither have done much professionally. Finishing 2nd, I am expecting to be the Democratic Republic of the Congo. If you know much about world conflicts, you are probably thinking it is pretty odd having Rwanda and Congo in the same group right now, but it is what it is, I guess. Congo has the potential to have a really good team, but Jonathan Kuminga has already rejected the invitation to play, and fellow former/current NBA players like Emmanuel Mudiay, Christian Nyanga, and Oscar Tshiebwe have reportedly not been present for training camp. But they still have a pretty good team that went 5-1 in the qualifiers. They will be led by Claude Lutet and Jordan Sacco, who both compete professionally in Europe. The team I believe will be winning Group A will be Côte d'Ivoire. Going a perfect 6-0 in the qualifiers is a difficult feat when you realize the games are spread out, so 3 are played in February 2024, then 3 in February 2025, which is pretty crazy, but they got it done. They also look like they should be rocking former NBA big man Matt Costello as their naturalized player. He dominated the 3 most recent qualifiers and was a meaningful producer in the Spanish ACB and Euro Cup this past year. With him on the floor, the pressure on the opposing defense will be overwhelming as he can do damage both inside and out. His gravity should create a lot of open lanes for guys like Nisre Zozua, Jean-Philippe Daly, and Lionel Quadio, all of which were dependable in the qualifiers. And recent fringe NBA big man Mo Bamba formally announced his intention to compete with the national team. His size on the interior will give them a massive edge, and the pairing of him with Costello could be a dazzling duo. Moving on to Group B, known as this tournament's Group of Death, the team I believe will be finishing 4th will be Madagascar. A very unproven squad making their country's first earned appearance in this tournament since way back in 2003. Madagascar will be led by their 20-year-old star point guard Matthias Mamadi, who was the MVP of the 2022 U18 AfroBasket tournament at only 16. Though he does not shoot the long ball very well, he can score in a variety of ways inside the paint. 2 other noteworthy performers in their qualifiers were wings Eli Randriam Ampio Nona and Sitraka Rajari Mamantonina. This roster, in case you did not notice, is full of very difficult names. Finishing 3rd, I have Tunisia. Not a bad team by any definition. In fact, they went a powerful 5-1 in the qualifiers. Tunisia is a very good squad that plays very well inside the arc, but their lack of shooters may mark their demise. Makram Ben Ramdane is their best player. The big man operated as a point forward in the qualifiers, but may have difficult against the tall and athletic bigs in this group. Tunisia could steal a second win, but I would not be betting on it. Finishing 2nd, I have Cameroon. The hypothetical kings of African basketball are without Pascal Siakam, Yves Missi, Christian Koloko, and Ulrich Shomchi. But they are still a pretty talented bunch. They will be led by naturalized point guard Jeremiah Hill, who dominated the qualifiers on both ends of the floor, including averaging 2.8 steals per game. Alongside him are veterans Fabien Ateba and William Nares, both of which can be counted on plenty. But the winners of Group B will almost certainly be Nigeria. Though they looked shaky in the qualifiers going 3-3 overall, they actually have won every game in 2025. And NBA veteran wing Josh Okogie is expected to be competing with them, which will elevate them greatly on defense, rebounding, rim attacking, and his streaky shooting can take over games. Point guard Ike Nwamu, shooting guard Caleb Agada, and big man Talib Zana round out their main contributors as they all played a meaningful role in them winning those last 3 qualifier games. Nigeria has a lot of potential going into this tournament. They are a real medal threat. Moving on to Group C, the team I have finishing 4th will be Libya. The victims of a second group of death, you could argue. Despite their shocking qualifiers run where they finished with a record of 4-2, winning their group, Libya enters the tournament as massive underdogs. Apart from when they last hosted it, Libya has not earned the right to compete in the AfroBasket tournament since 1978, meaning they are ending an over 50-year drought this summer. But they lack high-quality pros. Their best player will likely be the point guard Nassim Badrush. Finishing 3rd, I believe, will be Guinea. Like Rwanda from Group A, Guinea squeaked into this tournament with only 2 wins. One against the victory-less Kenya team, but also one against the host nation Angola this past February. They are led by naturalized point guard Shannon Evans, who most recently had himself a fantastic season in Spain's ACB and was integral to Guinea's success in the qualifiers. Along with him, veteran guard Ahmed Doumbia and big man Ousmane Drame will be depended on for them to put up a good fight. Finishing 2nd, I have the host nation Angola. Tough is the best descriptor of this team. Angola is a tall, long, and athletic bunch, but their interior strength is their biggest identifier. Former NBA big man Bruno Fernando is always a force to be reckoned with on the FIBA stage. He will be a very difficult player to manage for the opposing bigs. But he is not alone, as forwards Gilson Bango and Abu Gaku are both effective rim finishers. And 5'5" point god Childe Dundao is their on-court mastermind, as he led their team in scoring, assists, and steals in the qualifiers. Between 1983 and 2015, Angola claimed a medal at every single AfroBasket tournament, but it has been a decade since their last. This bunch of guys is looking to end this drought. But winning Group C, I believe, will be South Sudan. The youngest FIBA team broke onto the international stage immediately, proving they could hang with some of the world's very best at the Olympics and World Cup. They famously lost to Team USA by only a single point in their preparations for the 2024 Olympic Games a year ago. They are heavy favorites at the AfroBasket tournament, but they are not perfect. South Sudan lost a pair of matches in the qualifiers to Congo and Mali, but that's basketball. Anything can happen in any random game. Wenyan Gabriel and Lual Achwil are awesome centers who can rebound and finish around the rim. And wings Junior Madut and Peter Jacques are great rim attackers and can shoot. Plus, you never know, talented guys like Carlick Jones, Bol Bol, and Mariel Sheok may compete as well, which would boost their team immensely. South Sudan is used to being underdogs. It is going to be interesting to see how they fare with a big target on their backs. And finally, Group D, finishing fourth, I have Egypt. The more you break down each group in this tournament, the more group of deaths you find. Egypt has a tough draw and may be without one of their best players, as big man Assem Mari, who led his team in rebounding and was third in scoring in the 2023 World Cup, may miss the tournament due to personal reasons. This means guys like Ihab Amin, Anas Mahmoud, and Mohamed Taha Mohamed are going to be called upon to pick up the slack. Their lack of speed, length, and size are their biggest weaknesses on defense, but they are a highly skilled bunch that can shoot themselves into any game. Finishing third, I have Mali, an interesting national team because they have a surprisingly strong youth development system that has led them to claiming 6 straight medals at the U18 AfroBasket Games, but their senior team has not won a medal since way back in 1972. They will be led by their point guard and former U18 MVP Siriman Kanut, who has struggled to find his footing early in his professional career, but he did play very well in the qualifiers. And their high-flying rim protector Aliou Diarra will be crucial to them on defense. I made a video specifically breaking down his game not too long ago, so if you want to hear more about him, please check that out after this video. Mali is not a bad team, but they struggle with shooting and they do not have many good ball handlers. Taking second, I have Uganda. Uganda was a bit disappointing in the qualifiers, struggling to a 2-4 record in the group stage, but they have a lot of continuity and some pretty good high-end talent. Former NBA wing Ish Wainwright highlights their team as a do-it-all wing who can defend any position, shoot, and can put the ball on the floor. Deng Gyu and Robinson Opong will also be there alongside him, looking to pull off an upset or two. And the team I have winning Group D will be Senegal. These 6 qualifier games they play are not everything, but their 6-0 record with a plus 133 scoring differential was far and away the best in the tournament. Senegal is bringing a roster blending youth with experience. Jean-Zakou Boissy highlights their team as a do-it-all point guard who can carve through defenses, pick his man's pocket defensively, and knock down long balls at a crazy high rate. He's also in that video I made. Again, I recommend you check it out. And Banku Badio and Youssou Ndoye highlight their veterans. Plus, there are murmurs online that former NBA giant Taco Fall may be joining the Senegal national team for their first time in his career. His addition would no doubt give them a huge, pun intended, upgrade to their interior defense and rebounding. So that wraps up pool play. Now let me punch these teams into the final bracket and let's predict some outcomes. Know that I'm not going to spend as much time here because these are single games and you never know what can happen. Remember, this is all just for fun. I think some viewers in my Asia Cup video got a little bit too offended when I picked their team to lose. Round 1. Angola versus Mali. 2 teams that do their damage inside. One is stronger, more experienced, and will be playing in front of their home fans. Give me Angola. Uganda versus Guinea. A pretty even matchup that could go either way, but only one can win. I'm gonna take Uganda. Congo versus Tunisia. A fraction of one team versus another's very best. Though I think it'll be close, I'm taking Congo. Cameroon versus Cape Verde. It comes down to the presence of Willy Tavares. Since I don't expect him to be present, I'm picking Cameroon. Round 2. Côte d'Ivoire versus Angola. A brutal round 2 pairing as both of these teams are here to win the gold, but one will be leaving without even a chance at bronze. This will be a spectacular game, but I am taking Côte d'Ivoire. Nigeria versus Uganda. You never know, but I don't expect this game to be super close. I have Nigeria. South Sudan versus Congo. This will be a revenge game from that qualifier earlier. South Sudan will come out on top. Senegal versus Cameroon. A matchup that could be so much greater, but will still be a lot of fun to watch. I'm taking Senegal. Semi-finals. Côte d'Ivoire versus Nigeria. An epic battle of bigs versus wings. These two squads are some of the best in the continent, but only one can move on to that gold medal game, and I'm going to take Côte d'Ivoire. South Sudan versus Senegal. Another epic battle. The South Sudanese are everyone's Goliath, and Senegal will be their toughest test yet, but I don't think they are strong enough. Give me South Sudan. For the bronze medal, we have Nigeria versus Senegal. It's time for a new era of African basketball. I think Senegal takes this one and claims their third consecutive bronze medal at the AfroBasket Games. And finally, the gold medal match, Côte d'Ivoire versus South Sudan. This game is going to be spectacular. Two teams decked out with premier African talent going head-to-head on the biggest stage. Though neither are the home squad, I'm expecting and hoping a loud, energetic crowd with tons of electricity shows up. There will be plenty of highlight plays and memorable moments here. I believe South Sudan will complete their perfect run and claim their first ever AfroBasket gold medal. This means Côte d'Ivoire would be claiming their second consecutive silver. So there you guys have it, my complete 2025 AfroBasket preview and predictions. In case you cannot tell, I'm really looking forward to this tournament. Please let me know down below who you guys are rooting for, which players you are most excited to see play, and who you think will claim the 3 medals. Thank you all for watching the video all the way up until the end. Remember to like if you have not and subscribe for more basketball related content. I will see you all next time.